Welcome back. All right, so some interesting results tonight. And this game here reminded me of a song that used to be played on Vancouver radio back when Pat Quinn was coach. When he was first coach. And yeah, it's a good thing I'm wearing a Cobra Kai Eagle Fang shirt underneath this because it really felt like I was watching something out of Cobra Kai when I was watching this game. But first, we're going to go in order. We always go in order. And we start with Vegas and Minnesota. So you see I picked the ones that are text-based until I got to this game where I didn't have any text-based logos. So the VGK, Vegas, in against the Minnesota Wild. It's Brisebois versus Gustafsson. Good early back and forth in this one. We get a power play for Vegas. Pietrangelo has a shot that's saved. They cycle. Kessel has a one-timer that's held. That's killed off. The Wild press 5 minutes in. There's a near miss for Eichel on a 3-on-2. McNabb has a shot that's held as Vegas presses. Shots are 6-2 Vegas, 9.5 minutes in. And at 9:59, just before the halfway mark, Kolasar opens the scoring from Hutton and Bluger. Tips that one in front. The Wild then look to answer. Brisebois letting out with some rebounds there. There were definitely some rebounds to be had. 2 minutes of 4-on-4 takes place. Middleton's denied as the Wild press. That was during the 4-on-4. Things are punchy and pushy behind the Wild's net. Vegas comes out of that with a power play. Smith has a shot that's held. Good cycle for Vegas, but that's killed off. Vegas presses in the final minute, but after the first period, it's 1-0 Vegas. Second period, early jump for the Golden Knights. Raw has a chance to save. There's more pressure, but on a fast break, Duhaime scores from Reeves and Dewar at 3:36. He wires that one far corner. We get a power play for Minnesota. That's killed off. Boldy's denied from the slot. The shots are 5-3 Minnesota, 8.5 minutes in. Vegas presses at the half. Eriksson Ek has a wraparound. That's saved. Steele with a rush chance. Merrill's denied at that point. We then get a power play for Minnesota, and they score on it. It's Klingberg from Boldy and Zuccarello at 13:57. It was a screen point shot, and it goes far corner. But Dorofeev, now, what drove me crazy was I was watching the Minnesota feed, and he kept saying Dorofeev, and I'm like, it's Dorofeev. It's one of those things. From Smith and Carlson at 16:34, and that one was wired through a screen. But before the period's out, Minnesota gets another. It is Boldy with his 30th. I think they said 11th in 8 games. Eriksson Ek and Johansson with the assists at 19:19. So after the second period, it's 3-2 in favor of Minnesota. Third period, the shots were 2-0 for the Wild at 3 minutes. And honestly, Vegas wasn't getting much space and very many chances. I thought the Wild were doing a good job of shutting it down. Whitecloud has a shot that's blocked. The Wild rush. Smith has a rush chance. That's held. Wild press 8 minutes in. There's a power play for Vegas. Kessel has a shot that's held. Eichel's denied. That's killed off. The Wild clear it out. Vegas presses with 3 minutes left. The goalie pull takes place around 2 minutes left. And at 19:25, it's Dorofeev scoring again from Carlson and Eichel. So that ties it up at 3. We're going to overtime. Wild control early. Vegas steals it. They exchange turnovers. Petrangelo's denied on a rush. The Wild cleared out. And Boldy had the puck, but they just run out of time. Minnesota's not able to hit a buzzer beater. And so we go to the shootout. And in round 5, Riley Smith gets the shootout winner for Vegas. They go to 48, 22, and 7. A much-needed 2 points for Vegas, considering LA and Edmonton are on their heels. The Wild, they clinch a playoff spot with the shootout loss. They go to 44, 23, and 10. But with the results tonight, they are no longer first in the division. Your shots on net in this one, 12-8 Minnesota in the first, 11-9 Minnesota in the second. Both teams had 8 shots in the third period, and Minnesota outshot Vegas 2-1 in overtime. Final shots, 33-26 for Minnesota. Power plays, Vegas 0 for 3, Minnesota 1 for 2. The hits, 28-14 in favor of Minnesota. Brisebois, 30 saves on 33 shots. Gustafsson, 23 saves on 26 shots. So overall, really good game. If these teams meet in the playoffs, should be great. Even though Vegas does sweep the season series, it still would be a fun matchup because Wild fans, that would mean it would be in the conference final. So be a fun matchup no matter what, right? All right, next up, Nashville and Dallas. So Nashville's playoff hopes take a major blow tonight. This is one of those games in hand that they had on Winnipeg and teams are chasing, and it just doesn't go their way. So it's Saros versus Wedgwood. The Stars score, but there's a challenge for offside, so that means I immediately take the goal magnet off the board because that's not going to count, and it didn't. Pressed by the Stars at 2.5 minutes, and eventually they do score. Hintz scores from Pavelski and Robertson at 4:21. Stop me if you've heard those guys combine on a goal before. And it was buried on a good cycle. Shots are 4 apiece at 5.5 minutes. There's a near miss for Sagan as the Stars press. Ben's denied. The Stars are controlling the action at this point, doing a pretty good job. Miller has a screenshot that's caught and held. Shots are 10 apiece with 5.5 minutes left. A net feed to Jankowski, that gets picked off. There's a press by Nashville in the final minute, and things are kind of pushy behind the Stars' net. But after the first period, it's 1-0 in favor of Dallas. Pretty evenly played, but Dallas with the lead. Second period, early Nashville power play. They cycle. Sagan clears it out. Glass is denied. Wedgwood holds on. That's killed off. Shots at that point are 4-0 in favor of Nashville. Fabro has a screenshot that's saved and held. There's a power play for Dallas. Good cycle, but it's killed off and manages 0 shots. Gravel is then denied on a fast break out of the box, and Daryl Ray said, I don't know how he got behind Suter there, and I thought, I know, but I'm not going to say anything. So the shots are 7-0 Nashville at 9.5 minutes. It's just one of those things where it's like, they forget, and I talk about this in a lot of recaps. Watch for the guy coming out of the box. Nope, they just generally don't seem to do that enough. So anyways, Hintz has a net drive that's defended. There's a post for Johnston. The Preds clear it out. Sagan's then denied as the Stars with some pressure. And then there's a face-off win. There's a cycle. And Miller buries one from Faxa and Glendenning at 12:31. We then get a power play for Dallas, and they score on it. It's Pavelski from Heiskanen and Robertson at 16:07. And then there's a press by Nashville with 2 minutes left. And Dallas's power play always seems to do well against Nashville. I don't know what it is. So we're going to the third period with Dallas up 3-0. Power play for Dallas. Heiskanen has a shot that deflects wide. That's killed off. Hintz is denied and close. The shots are 3-1 Nashville at 7.5 minutes. Things get punchy with 11:35 left. The Stars get a power play and they score on it. It's Robertson from Heiskanen and Ben at 8:24. Delandry is denied as the Stars look for more, and it's too bad because Delandry had the goal that was offside early in the game. And then Sagan buries one top shelf in close. Robertson with the assist at 14:23. So now Robertson's decided to go for 100 points. I think he's going to get there. Now, before we can talk about a shutout, well, Foote scored to break that at 15:10, so we can have nice things. Nashville gets a power play with 3:22 left. That's killed off. Your final score is 5-1 in favor of Dallas. They're now first in the division. They clinch a playoff spot as well. They're 42-21-14. So 2 of my 3 teams will be in the playoffs. That always makes it entertaining. Nashville 38-30-8, and as I said, this is a game they needed. They don't get it. Shots on net are 10 apiece in the first, 9-6 Nashville in the second, 9-8 Dallas in the third. Final shots 27-25 for Nashville. Power plays the Preds 0 for 2. Dallas 2 for 4. The hits 18-17 Dallas. Saros 20 saves on 25 shots. Wedgwood was excellent. 26 saves on 27 shots. That's the kind of goaltending that. And all, I'm not saying anything bad about Matt Murray, but he was not performing like this. Murray's a young kid. He's not really in position to take over as a backup. So it's nice to have Wedgwood back. And so I like the battery right now in Dallas. You've got Ottinger, you got Wedgwood down the stretch. Maybe they can finish and win the division after all. All right, and last game of the night, the ugliest. So I mentioned earlier the song. So when Pat Quinn took over as the coach of the Canucks, it wasn't pretty early. This was a team that couldn't score, and I'm going somewhere with this because tonight Arizona reminded me of that. And so they did their own version of the song The Mighty Quinn. If you're young, you can go look it up. But basically the chorus was, try to keep the puck out, but it keeps going in. We can't play much better for this coach named Quinn. Throw out your lefts and throw out your right, or throw out your left, throw out your right. We can't play hockey, so let's start a fight. And it was going through my head in the third period in this game with the way that Arizona just kind of melts down. So it's Prosvetov versus Grubauer. I'm going to agree with Tyson Nash on this. I'm not sure why Prosvetov's getting the net. And I mean, on some level, fine, they're out of the playoffs. You want to see how he can play. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say you need to not have him in net at this point because I don't think this is going to help his confidence going forward. So good early jump for Seattle, but the shots on net are 1 apiece at 3 minutes. They're not getting a ton of opportunities early, but they get a power play and they score on it at 4:54. It's Eberle from Sprong and Schultz. He tips that one in front. There was a crowded net. Not much chance for Prosvetov there. Nemeth fires one high as the Coyotes look to respond. Schmaltz to Hayden, near miss there. Coyotes press are kept to the outside. Seattle gets another power play. Schultz has a blast that's saved. Prosvetov gets shaken up. He took a shot to the mask. He did stay in. And then we get 4 seconds of 4-on-4, and the Coyotes would get a power play. During the Coyotes' power play, Seattle scores. It's McCann from Beniers at 15:07. He wires it from the high slot. You probably need a save there if you're Arizona. Seattle finishes the kill. So out of the first period, it's 2-0 for Seattle. They're taking advantage of their opportunity. Second period, early Coyotes power play. That's killed off. Geekie has a rush chance that's held. And then good forecheck, good pass, and buried. Arizona gets on the board. It's Krause from Bocelli and Mackey at 4:44. So this makes it 2-1, and it felt like Arizona had a little bit of something going at that point. Coyotes look to tie it, but then we get a power play for Seattle. So some lack of discipline tonight from the Coyotes, which would just get worse as this game went along. That's killed off. Things get pushy then on a hold by Grubauer. Shots on net are 4-piece at the half. The Coyotes press with 8.5 minutes left, but then Seattle takes it the other way, and they score. Good little cycle, a low short side goal. Again, probably need a save there. Susie from Sprong and Dunn at 11:58. And then the defensive miscues take place. McCann says thanks. He scores at 15:03. Suddenly it's 4-1 for Seattle. And this was where you could tell it was spiraling. Bjorkstrand then has a net drive that's saved. There's a press by the Coyotes with 2.5 minutes left that draws him a power play. Keller has a shot that's blocked. They cycle. That's killed off. So it's 4-1 going into the third period. Early press by Seattle, and they score. On their first shot, it's Borgen from Wenberg and Geekie at 1:18. The shots on net are 1 apiece at 4.5 minutes. So Arizona's not getting a lot of chances either. The Kraken are limiting space for the Coyotes. And it was kind of a trap. So what's interesting is that a team that plays the trap, it's not just nobody's going to score. It's that if the other team is overly aggressive, the trap is sprung, and you get that odd man rush. You get that chance at the goal. And a trapping team can get 7 or 8 goals in a game, and it felt like in that third period they were just waiting for Arizona mistakes, which were taking place. So we get a power play for Seattle. Good cycle on that, but it's killed off. Keller has a rush chance that's saved. Seattle press with 9.5 minutes left, and Bjorkstrand would score from Tolvanen and Dunn at 11:01. That one's tipped in front. It may end up being Gord's goal. It still hasn't changed, but it may end up being Yanni Gord's. Then we had a fight between O'Brien and Alexiak. O'Brien wins the fight, but Alexiak's much bigger, so he just kind of threw him down. Kraken get a power play. That's killed off, and things are getting really brawly. The Coyotes definitely frustrated, and they're a bigger team than Seattle. At least it sure seemed like it, other than Alexiak. But yeah, it was getting kind of dirty at this point. Kraken go back to the power play as a result. They would score. Geekie gets a goal from Gordon Larson at 18:05. That makes it 7-1. And then Donato scores from Tanev and Schultz at 19:33. And as he's scoring, one of his teammates is getting flung into the boards. So he takes issue with that. And you celebrate the goal with a bunch of punching. So these teams meet again on Thursday. This is the first of 3 meetings over the next 8 days. So yeah, this could be, or 7 days actually, because it's on the 10th, right, is the third game. So this could be something. So your final score is 8-1 Seattle. They go to 42-26-8 with the win. Arizona 27-38-13 with the loss. Seattle now goes to Vancouver to play in Vancouver tomorrow night. Your shots on net in this one: 11-7 Seattle in the first, 10-8 Seattle in the second, 11-7 Seattle in the third. Final shots 32-22 for the Kraken. Power plays: Arizona 0-3, Seattle 2-7. Normally I would say, well, wow, 7 power plays. That seems like, nope, that's fair. Arizona, it was a night of not a lot of discipline. Andre Tourigny's gotta rein them in for that next game on Thursday against Seattle. Hits 21-15 Seattle. Prosvetov 24 saves on 32 shots. It definitely, it's not all on him. They only got the 1 goal on 21 shots on Grubauer, but I was really surprised he was just left in the net to get shelled for all 8 goals. Arizona doesn't play tomorrow, so it's not like you have to worry about putting in a goalie and him being tired for tomorrow night's game. At any rate, kind of ugly late in the season for Arizona. This can happen, and yeah, my concern is I don't want to see anybody get injured in a game like this. And there were some reckless plays late in this game where I was like, man, somebody could get hurt. So at any rate, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching. I will talk to you again soon. And by talking about the song The Mighty Quinn, I know I'm dating myself. I'm well aware that I'm old. Thanks again for all your support. I will talk to you guys again soon.